But I kind of feel, you know, there's kind of a split fault here. Shouldn't be getting a screen like this after just turning it back on, because I've made no software or hardware modifications to the machine. And I know I've been belly aching about this thing a lot, but I went through, I did a firmware update, restarted a couple times. This MCU error, MCU, I looked it up, it's the microcontroller unit. I updated the firmware and it gave me a you can't, I'll post a picture here. It's some other kind of error. So when I restarted the machine, it came back to MCU error. What could have possibly gone wrong? What could have possibly gone wrong? What could have possibly gone wrong? So, having the issue with the Orangestorm Giga, posting on Reddit, 2 tickets to Elegoo, asking people in videos. The first video where I kind of show the error came out today, I think. Haven't looked at the comments yet. It's only been up for, is it even up? I don't know. I think I figured out the issue though. I'll show you. Do you see it yet? Maybe a little closer. Come on. Closer. So, your boy, I should probably turn this off before I do that. This is one of the downsides of the Giga. To turn it off, the button's back there, so I have to crawl and not press anywhere. Your boy forgot to plug it back in. Let's see if she boots now. What are you doing, step bro? Enough horsing around. It's horsing around that got me into this mess. I'll just leave this right here while I go and put on my dunce hat. I think in the previous videos I went on and on about, like, if it's my problem, I'm gonna own up to it. Seems like I gotta eat a retard pie or a crow pie or a humble pie, some kind of pie. I'm gonna eat pie. With that done, now we can back up into the original issue, which was the layer lines. And a lot of people coming in saying it's wet filament. Again, I tried it was 2 different spools. And this, you know, this is me making excuses, I know. But the 2 different spools that I tried were both, well, actually I did a Rapid PLA Plus, which has never shown me any moisture issues on any of the other printers. The other 2 spools were also Rapid PLA Plus, but they were these big honking 5 kilo spools. So drying this out, I guess I'm supposed to put it in an oven or something like that. But, you know, let's see. The tips always seem more, like that's supposed to be the test, right? If it's snappy, that means it's wet. Yeah, I don't want to like give into that because I really don't want to have to dry these things out. Drying out all your filament, like I get it. A lot of people dry their filament. They're very meticulous about it. And they're printing small things. So like you dry out 1 spool of filament, it's not that big of a deal, and you can print 50 things or whatever. Me, like, you know, most of my prints are at a minimum half a kilo for a lot of these things. And with the Giga, you're talking like 5-10 kilos. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna go through and dry 2 5-kilogram spools at once and then keep them in some kind of desiccant thing. I know I've had good performance before, not drying it out, just taking it out of the bag. Now the garage, a lot of people ask about that, like, you know, your garage is, you know, humid or whatever. Like I've got air conditioning, it runs all the time, and that's dedicated to this garage. It has its own mini split, so it's very pleasant in here. It's actually a little hot right now. So, you know, maybe I take it out of the pack and let it kind of off gas a little bit. I'm not sure. So I think what I'm gonna do is run a test print, maybe just like a cylinder, something easy that'll print quickly, but with sufficient height to where I can see the lines. So I'm gonna go and change up my slicer settings for the 0.8 nozzle. I'm gonna throw in some of this white PLA and see how it works. All right, so it's been a few hours and I've had sufficient time to process how stupid I am and how I was broadcasting it over and over again. At least I hedged pretty well in those videos. I was pulling the clips of where I was saying, like, I'll own up to being stupid. And I did, I think I did. A little credit, worth a subscription, worth a like, maybe. Orangestorm Giga, working over here. So I've got the 0.8 nozzle in it now. And I went back through, I had to do a remeshing of the bed, a leveling, not the one with the, we're gonna get to that. I don't know if you heard that. But I did that test cylinder I was talking about to look at like the surface finish. Are we gonna get zoom? It's a lot of white. surface finish looks okay. But these black lines in here, this was pure white filament, a brand new nozzle. Brand new, never been used. And this is the way, the orientation it was printing. So seems white here, but then I've got a lot of discoloration here. So I don't know if there was just junk stuck up in the extruder and it's kind of feeding through, because that's more than just, I mean, that's something. Also some speckles in there. That's clearly like pieces of filament or something like that. So my thinking is, and with this new issue, perhaps there's something wrong with the extruder. So when I took the head off and I tightened the extruder, I tightened, because it said in the documentation, turn left. Usually it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. This is lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. So I did that, but then when I started printing this, adjusted the extruder, and now it's making this like click noise, but it's inconsistent. It's every so often, and I was thinking maybe I had it too tight, and so I tried to back it off, but the hex key that adjusts the extruder is very, very small and very, very deep. And so I can never really feel if I'm actually doing it or not, because I'm not sure how much tension's actually on it. So I've just been monitoring it. I've got a print going here, and it's coming out like clean supreme, super clean, not making any click noises. I've been hearing all these weird like buzzes from the Y motor, what's that? That's the Z motor back there. So I thought the clicking maybe was the extruder having a hard time pulling the filament, and so I would pull some slack down to make it where it's very easy for it to pull. The clicking would continue. I couldn't like isolate the pattern, but right now you're sitting here with me, I don't hear a damn thing, and I gotta tell you, this print is crispy clean, and this is actually a panel for, I'll show you later. I'll show you, that's what the vlog's for, right? Over here on the Cobra is Cobra 1 and 2, another couple slat wall shelves. It's kind of a decorative thing. And finally, this here is actually one of the flanges for the desk fan, because I'm done with that video, done editing, but I need a thumbnail, and this is like the top portion of it so I can get a clean thumbnail shot. Gonna keep going on that. Let me show you what's going on with this thing here. All right, so if you've been with me for more than 5 minutes, you know that I've got neuroses about clutter and really trying to keep everything clean and proper. And so again, you're gonna be like, that is not an issue that you need to solve. But these gaps here between my tables and these cabinets, these are wall cabinets that I just screwed into the table. These gaps here kind of rub me the wrong way. Plus I don't have that black strip in the slats. And so when you're walking around, you can see that I don't have it there. And I'm like, man, I didn't even think about that. So my plan is to close up these gaps. So right now I'm just printing a 5 1/4 by 28 inch panel on the Giga right now. It's got a little flare at the top, a little triangle that I can, put double-sided tape on and just pop it into place. It's a standard width across several of these. And then what I'll do is I'll make a custom one over here for this corner. And that corner might actually be a great spot to put the Flashforge 85M Pro, because currently I got it out in my building. I didn't want anything visible in my office. And you see right now, previously I had some stuff, but I have no stuff. Like even like that extension cord back there, I'm trying to get rid of that. I'm trying to remove anything and everything that's a thing, just to kind of keep it as clean and empty as possible. Close that. You don't want to see that. It just, again, clean and pristine, because I feel like I do my best work in a clean environment. And cleanliness is next to godliness. At least that's what they say. So going to be printing those, working on those. Once those come out, and those were a good print too, because if they screw up, it's not a lot of filament. And it's a lot of flat surface where I can like look at the Z distance, I can monitor it. It's relatively quick. It's not a multi-day print to where I'm going to sleep and then the printer screws up very badly. So it's kind of an ideal print for me to do coming off the heels of this Orangestorm Giga issues, which was really just my dumbassery. And it's our third incantation of the Eve Hornet Nest, and I was like, this is gonna be the one. I can take pictures of it and whatnot, because I made the screws the correct depth. I can't believe I screwed it up again. The screw holes are just about a quarter of a millimeter too narrow for the screw to just fall into. I don't want people screwing through the design. Additionally, when I was kind of plotting it out, the screw's gonna be about at that depth. I'm not sure if you could see that here. And I got to thinking, like me, I'm a toolsy guy. I got tools, you know, if you're a dude, you got tools. But Mary Sue or Ruth or whoever buys this thing might not have tools, and they might not have a really long screwdriver to send this screw all the way down in. I'm like, you know what, I should move this out a little bit to where the head of the screw, the end point, is in a little shallower position from within the model. And so I went ahead and made those changes. I'm printing concept number, you know, it's probably the 4th version of this, but at least I got lots of fake hornet nests to put up around my house. So I'm going to be reprinting those. And for my next trick, my next project, something I've been wanting to work on for a while, I've got all the trimmings, all the accoutrements here, right here in a handy dandy napkin. This is for my Breville, my espresso machine. Now, you might have seen it. It was one of my first designs. Breville's an espresso machine. It's like 600 bucks. It's like, you know, that's cheap for an espresso machine. It's like the home version of it. And I got to tell you something. Let me tell you something right now. That thing is like the watering hole around this place. We hit that thing no less than 5-6 times a day. We quit using coffee grounds in our drip coffee pot and just grind up espresso beans because it's just so much better. We're always using it. Problem is when you grind the beans, they kind of get it. They have a tendency to kind of fan out and get everywhere. We have white countertops. I'm always wiping it. So I made a big tray that fits in front of the Breville, and it's always left a little bit to be desired. Didn't quite fit in perfectly, and plus there are accoutrements for the Breville that I'd kind of like to build more of a station for. And I know a lot of people run the Breville Barista Express or some iteration of it, and because it's like the cheapest espresso machine, I imagine it's one of the more popular ones. So you get like, you know, single, double shot, things like that. I guess this is to dose out beans or something. I have no idea what this is. This isn't for the espresso machine. This is these are that is not what these are for. These are out of my my micro toolkit. Here's a tamper here. We don't use this one. We use a nicer one, but you know, this is the one that I imagine most people are using. So all these different things. It'd be nice to have a little spot for them, and I know they sell these stands where people can put all their accessories for it, but I'd like something that can hold the accessories and also be made to fit the machine. I've got the Cobras, which are 400 millimeters, so that's plenty big to print something like that. No way anyone could print something like this on a bamboo, at least the accessories and the tray in one unit, and I think it'd be better to have it all in one unit. So I wanted to start working on that, wanted to take a look. Probably a reason to buy a bigger espresso machine, right? And do this for espresso machines. So gonna be measuring all these out, trying to figure out a place for it. Might draw some inspiration from other models that are on like Printables or Maker World and stuff like that, because I'm just being honest here. I imagine most people are doing that, and I know I'm doing it. If I have an idea for something, first I look for the analog to see if someone else has already done it, and usually they have. And so I kind of look at them and like, okay, they did this and that. That's probably a good idea. And then you make your own changes to it and design it, you know, from the ground up yourself. I don't see that anyone could really argue that point. If you're taking their file, modding it, which I've done that too, but I've not sold anything like that. If you were just taking their file and then bolting shit onto it, yeah, I could see an argument there. But if you're looking at their file and going back and forth and kind of remaking components of it, I don't see any problem with that. And if you do, then you're just looking for reasons to be mad, man. Goodyear didn't invent the tire, Dunlop did, but can you tell the difference at a distance? No, you can't. And that's the hill I'm gonna die on with that. I'd love to know if you think that's wrong in the comments below. That's what I'm working on today. I'd love to know what you're working on in the comments below. If you like this video, press the like button. It's the nice thing to do, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm The Technicals. See you next time.